She was the youngest ever finalist to appear on The Apprentice. Businesswoman Camilla Ainsworth joins me to discuss her good habits for young entrepreneurs. So Camilla, you were the youngest finalist ever in the UK Apprentice.
Yes, it's crazy to actually hear that, because I don't really talk about it that much anymore, because it was 2 years ago now, I think. But yeah, I was the youngest finalist, which was just amazing. It was a fabulous experience.
And it's so inspiring for young business entrepreneurs everywhere to see that you can do it. You know, age isn't a limit. You can do anything if you put your mind to it. Just, hard work, dedication, and it's really inspiring to see.
Absolutely. I've been flying the flag that age isn't a barrier to success. And I do think a lot of the time people see age, lack of experience as an excuse not to get started. And I just feel like you should plow on, get stuck in, regardless of experience, regardless of what age you are. And I hope that I showed that by going on The Apprentice and obviously getting to the final.
But going back in time, Camilla, you're starting your first business. What mistakes have you learned along the way? What wouldn't recommend, say, someone who's starting your business? They're like, right, do not do this. This will fail.
I would say you've got to be really careful. In that at the start we tested the market first. So before I placed a huge order for retail quantities, like we're talking like thousands and thousands of bottles, I made the product at home and tested the market to test that there was a demand for it. I'm all for spontaneity and getting stuck in, but I do think that you have to test that your product is viable and people are wanting it first, especially if you're going to invest a lot of money into it. So that was something that I'm glad that I did. So that wasn't a mistake per se, but it's something that I'm very glad that I did with hindsight. But there's been so many mistakes along the way. Being careful with your order quantities, not letting your ego get carried away, because obviously you want to order as much as possible because you think you can sell it, but you don't want to be left with stock. I've had that once before and then learn a hard lesson.
That's a really bad habit, but you can turn it into a positive one, is your mindset. If you think negative, like this is going to fail, this is going to ruin me in the moment, then what's it going to do? You're going to be in that bad mindset and it's not going to work for you going forward.
Absolutely. And I think the people that you surround yourself with also really affect your mindset. So I always implement the notion that you become the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. So you need to be really specific and picky with who's around you, because that can really negatively impact your mindset.
So what would be your first good habit be for somebody starting a business? They might have no experience at all. They might have an idea, but it's a confidence thing. They might be, my age is going to hold me back. What would you say?
I'd say ignore the background noise. So stay in your own lane, focus on you, focus on forwards, get your blinkers on, and really try not to listen to the opinions of others. As soon as you stop thinking about what other people think and caring what they think, you get a sense of freedom, and it kind of allows you to level up and go to the next level without being distracted and spending more energy on others' opinions. So that's a really good habit that I got into, which was just not caring about other people's reservations. Let them have an opinion, but it doesn't mean it has to affect you and your forward decision making. And,
we're all guilty of it. Like, I wonder what they're going to think in social media. That's a massive contributor. Like, I don't want to like offend anyone, or I don't want to do anything like that. But you can't let that happen.
Absolutely. And I feel like social media, you'll never be criticized by someone who's doing more than you. It's only by people who maybe can't stand that you've started at the same place. Like, you might be from the same town and you might be perceived as doing better. And that's something that is difficult, because you think, why can't everyone be happy for each other? But unfortunately, it's not always the case. But you've got to just forget about that and focus on yourself.
It's small town syndrome, isn't it? You see people doing well and it's almost quite bitter, isn't it? Because they've done better than you, but they've worked incredibly hard to get there.
Absolutely. And I feel like you've just got to remember that everyone's different. Like I used to really struggle when I came off The Apprentice. I kind of thought that I was living in this bubble where I thought that everyone was really nice, everyone wanted you to do well. And going on The Apprentice and realizing that I wasn't really getting supported by a lot of people that I knew. It was more strangers. And that's quite a difficult pill to swallow at 22, especially when I was a bit naive in thinking that I'm happy for everyone else. So I assume everyone else would be, but it's not always the case. But you can't give any airtime to that. No energy. Your energy is your currency. And that's something that I deploy in everyday life. Like if it's not going to bother you in 5 years' time, then don't spend 5 minutes, more than 5 minutes, worrying about it in the here and now.
Yeah, really, really sound advice there. And social media, like we've just discussed then, we take advantage of it. You know, over generations before us, young people starting business, they didn't have it. So would you say that's a really good habit, take advantage of social media and marketing that way?
Absolutely. And it's free. You know, I genuinely believe that despite all of the background noise, despite all of the like terrible last few months, well, it's been a year now, hasn't it? I feel like there's never been a better time to start an online business where you can utilize social media. It's free. You can get reach if you're just a little bit different in your marketing tips and techniques. So I feel like you need to be utilizing social media. And if you're not investing in producing good content, then you're missing out on a trick. Because these days, you know, you can go viral with the most amazing posts if you get creative with them. So I always say to my clients, because I do a bit of consultancy on the side, I always say to them, you know, this is a free resource. You can create lookalike audiences by following similar brands followers, and you know that they're engaged in what they're selling because they're already following a competitor. So why not go through and use techniques like that, which are completely free, not very time consuming.
So where can people find you then, Camilla? You know, you see your success, they want you to be a mentor. Where can they find you and work with you?
So you can find me on my Instagram, which is at Camilla Ainsworth. I've also got a consultancy page, which is in the bio of that. So that's super easy to find. And I've also just launched my website, which is really exciting. And I'm working with new clients in April. So yes, get on board if you're interested in working with me in the coming months and weeks.
Thank you again to Camilla for joining me and going over her good tips for entrepreneurs of the future.